Good morning. I'm Susan Pertnoy here with Barbara Kay. Welcome to Mosaic, Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County's weekly news magazine show.
Now in our 40th season, Mosaic explores Jewish issues here in the Palm Beaches and around the world.
Mark Wilf is the owner of an NFL team, a billionaire businessman, and now one of the top leaders of North America's Jewish community.
We'll talk with Mark about this remarkable journey from a child of Holocaust survivors to a leader tasked with reimagining Jewish life and philanthropy.
We'll be right back with Mosaic after this brief commercial break.
If it wasn't for the financial assistance, I couldn't come here.
Every little bit helps. She says, I get stronger every day.
When you have a child and you want the absolute best for them, it's twice as important to make the community strong.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I could have bought my BMW anywhere, but at Freeman, I love my salesman, my BMW, and Club Freeman.
It's the Season of Love sales event. Enjoy exceptional offers at Braman BMW, West Palm Beach and Jupiter. BramanBMW.com.
The Live-In Palace at Morse Life is leasing luxury residences for ages 65 plus, offering more than first-class amenities and white glove service. Life at the Palace is like life aboard a luxury cruise ship with more things to enjoy life now. More fabulous food, more fun, more friends, more family, more freedom, more future. Morse Life is more life. Live it at the Palace. Start your fabulous future now. Call 561-537-3402.
We have over 100 Porsches out of the sun and rain in our 6-story parking garage.
So it's easy to find your dream car at Porsche West Palm Beach.
Porsche West Palm Beach, the #1 Porsche certified pre-owned center with the largest selection in Florida. Visit BramanPorsche.com.
There are few experiences that bring a family closer than an adventure in the land of Israel. Enjoy the magic of Hanukkah with your children or grandchildren on Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County's unforgettable, tailor-made journey through Israel's most magnificent sites and cities. It's happening December 22nd to 29th, 2019. Learn more and reserve your spot with the information on your screen. Joining us is Mark Wilf, business icon and chairman of the board of Jewish Federations of North America. Welcome to Mosaic.
Thank you.
Mark, you're an attorney, you're a real estate developer, you're an owner of an NFL team, you are the board chair of JFNA, you're also a husband and father. Why do you devote so much time to Jewish community work?
Well, it's something very important to me, and for those of you in the audience that may not know, JFNA is the Jewish Federations of North America. And for myself, I grew up as the child of Holocaust survivors. My parents and grandparents were all survivors. And we grew up where philanthropy, giving back, was a big part of our life. And it really is something very important to me, and it's a value I try to carry on going forward.
So how have your Jewish values impacted your life in terms of your success and your philanthropy?
Well, I grew up in a home and a community that was very much connected to the principle of Kol Yisrael Arevim Zeh L'Zeh, which is all of the people of Israel are responsible for one another. And whether it's Zionism about the state of Israel, or taking care of those that are very vulnerable in our communities, or doing whatever it takes to make sure the Jewish people survive and thrive, it's something that is very important to me.
What are some of your concerns about the global Jewish community?
Well, number one, and I feel this personally as a child of survivors, but just in general, is the survival and the thriving of the state of Israel. I think it represents a beacon of hope for our people. It's something we have to aspire to as the homeland of our people. And also there are other concerns as well besides that, but that's number one, because had there been a state of Israel when my parents and grandparents went through the Holocaust, millions, the 6 million that perished and many millions of descendants from them would have survived. So that's number one. The second thing is anti-Semitism. It's something that's rising in Europe and all parts of the world, and it's something that we have to always be mindful of and to be vigilant about, and that leads to security as well. So all those issues should be on the minds of Jewish people everywhere.
Yeah, they should. You were recently named chairman of the board of Jewish Federations of North America. What's the role of JFNA?
Well, JFNA is the national umbrella organization of 147 federations, like the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County. There are 147 federations. We raise a tremendous amount of money around the country for underprivileged, for agencies, whether it's day schools or nursing homes or family services, and of course for global needs, whether it's the State of Israel or the former Soviet Union. Wherever there's a Jewish person in need, Federation is there, and it's really representing the community.
What are some of the challenges facing federations today in terms of staying relevant?
Well, we have to be connected to the next generation for sure. For young families, I think people want their children and their grandchildren to grow up in a community that cares, that's vibrant, and has a meaningful purpose. So Federation really represents the community. And I think people want to have that meaning and purpose in their life, and taking care of each other, making sure there's a strong State of Israel, making sure that Jewish life is important to people in their own family life. Those are the kind of values that I think people want to connect to, and we have to do a better job and a stronger job in conveying that message that it's something great to connect to.
How are some of the ways that the federations are engaging younger families?
Well, there are all kinds of events, certainly whether it's school programs. The Birthright program, which federations participate in, brings a lot of young people to Israel and connects them. There are a host of programs in your community. I just urge those people that are watching and others and their friends and family to call up the Federation office and find out ways they can get involved and ways they can get their children involved and learn about the community. It's a very meaningful and enriching experience.
What is your personal goal as board chair of JFNA?
Well, there are a lot of goals. It's a big operation. Number one, connecting to the next generation and growing that involvement. Talent development is something very important. I think we need stronger professionals and volunteer leaders around the country, and that's something we want to engage in. And also connecting people to the State of Israel and realizing that we're one people, and while there might be some differences like among a family, by and large we're together. We represent Klal Yisrael, and we need to take care of each other.
Thank you. On that note, we're going to take a break.
Great.
We'll be right back with our program after this brief message.
Coming up, we'll continue our conversation with Mark Wilf about the unique needs of Holocaust survivors and what you can do to help.
Eat, drink, and enjoy Shabbat services at Temple Bethel's Friday night happenings. Cocktail reception and kosher dinner at 5:30, followed by our creative, musically driven Shabbat service. Traditional to progressive, the food and music change every Friday, and you'll want to stay for complimentary dessert.
Plan to spend the whole evening here, and you'll walk away and you'll say, wow, we're coming back next week. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat services at Temple Bethel, open to everyone. Join us every Friday night.
The Levin Palace at Morse Life is leasing luxury residences for ages 65 plus, offering more than first-class amenities and white glove service. Life at the Palace is like life aboard a luxury cruise ship, with more things to enjoy life now. More fabulous food, more fun, more friends, more family, more freedom, more future. Morse Life is more life. Live it at the Palace. Start your fabulous future now. Call 561-537-3402.
In celebration of Mosaic's 40th season, take a look at this classic clip from our archives.
Let me ask you a question. You came into our beautiful Palm Beaches for a specific purpose.
Well, I did. I was invited to come and to view some of the things that the Federation does here. And then when I see their people, about 500 of them, who are their workers and some of their financial supporters, to tell them how important their work is. You know, we are now going through a period around the world where there is a surge of anti-Semitism that is horrifying, particularly in Europe. But it is also occurring here in the United States, and people are unaware of it. 20% of Americans polled by a national poll conveyed that they were, in fact, anti-Semites, not anti-Zionists, anti-Semites. And that's a shocking figure, 1 out of 5. But what was even more shocking was a Roper poll taken in New York City that said that 31% of the whites are anti-Semitic, self-identified in the poll. 63% of the blacks and 66% of the Hispanics. This in the city of New York, which has the largest Jewish population of any city in the world. So Jews have to understand, A, they're under attack. They have to stand up and defend themselves educationally, through government, but they also have to make sure that Jewish children and those who were born Jews but don't know who they really are, in the sense of pride of the accomplishments of Jews who have had one of the earliest of civilizations in the whole world, they have to give them the reasons to make them feel that there is a reason to stand up and be proud. Most Jews, I think, have that, but there are some that don't. And if we don't defend ourselves, who will?
If it wasn't for the financial assistance, I couldn't come here.
Every little bit helps. She says, I get stronger every day.
When you have a child and you want the absolute best for them, it's twice as important to make the community strong.
There are few experiences that bring a family closer than an adventure in the land of Israel. Enjoy the magic of Hanukkah with your children or grandchildren on Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County's unforgettable, tailor-made journey through Israel's most magnificent sites and cities. It's happening December 22nd to 29th, 2019. Learn more and reserve your spot with the information on your screen. We're back talking with Mark Wilf. Mark, you have a special place in your heart for Holocaust survivors. Can you tell us your story?
Well, it's my family story, and both my parents and grandparents, as I said earlier, were survivors. My father was born in Yaroslav, Poland, and he actually was during the war in a Siberian labor camp, and he lived out the war in the Soviet Union, and he was fortunate to survive with his parents as well, and a brother. One of his sisters perished. My mother grew up in Lvov, Poland, and there were 180,000 Jewish people in that town, and they lived in the ghetto, and my grandmother, my Babu Miriam, she had Christian papers, and she escaped the ghetto with my mother and uncle as little children by the hand, and worked as a Polish farm worker with her Christian papers. And the woman who owned the farm didn't know they were Jewish. And they, along with my grandfather, lived on that farm. My grandfather had to be hidden under the floorboards of a barn for 2 years. And they were never safe. They were under German occupation. And it was a harrowing and horrible experience, but they survived. My grandmother lost 7 siblings in the war. One survived and went to Israel. But anyway, it's a very long story, but I'm shortening it. Thank God they were able to survive. They made their way to America and built a life here.
That's quite a story. Your family's foundation has recently granted $5 million to the Jewish Agency for a senior affordable housing initiative. Why is that so important to you?
Well, it's important because, first of all, my parents were Zionists, and this was being named after my father's memory, who passed away a little over 2 years ago. And so that is important, that his name is in the state of Israel. But most importantly, this housing is specializing in Holocaust survivor care. And that's also something very important, that unfortunately, many of the Holocaust survivor population, even in this country, in the United States, are vulnerable, not just because of what they went through, but they're getting older and their needs are increasing. So it was a natural fit to name that building and to make sure that they live their remaining years in the dignity that they deserve. They really are heroes.
They really are, and there are a lot of them that are below the poverty line. It's just horrible. So can you tell us a little bit about the initiative?
Well, and in the United States, there's nearly, people may not realize this, but nearly a quarter of the Holocaust survivors in this country, there are roughly 100,000 survivors. They live at or below the poverty line. And it's a very vulnerable population, and they need home care, they need emergency assistance where they need to, they need medical care. And we just raised, as a national system, we've concluded a $60 million campaign, also with the federal government aid as well to help. But the needs are continuing, and we want to make sure, like I said, that these survivors live out in dignity.
What is the most important thing that we as a community should know about the special and unique needs of Holocaust survivors?
Well, the elderly have their needs, but given the trauma a lot of these survivors have gone through, things like going into a nursing home or needing special care or being in any kind of institution is incredibly more frightening for someone that went through what they went through. So the idea of staying in place, staying at home, is something that is much more needed in this community. So elderly have needs, but the Holocaust survivor community has special needs beyond that, and that's why it's important.
Is there something as a Jewish community that we can do to help that, as a layperson?
I think that I know every community does things differently, but the idea of perhaps visiting a survivor, a lot of communities have twinning programs where a bar bat mitzvah might spend time with a survivor and learn their story and become a companion to them. I would urge people to call the Federation and find ways they can be involved if they want to help, and maybe with the care of a survivor, or just to learn from them, because they really are great teachers. They have a lot to teach us.
Thank you. On a lighter note,
yes.
What made you decide to buy an NFL team?
Well, it's interesting because my parents, as immigrants, they wanted us to really live the American life and the American society, and we grew up going to New York Giants football games. That was a big part of our growing up, being part of those games and loving football and all kinds of sporting events. So it was always a dream of ours to somehow get involved in the sports business. And fortunately, in 2005, the opportunity came up to invest in the Minnesota Vikings. And then, long story made short, here we are entering our 15th season, and every day has been a thrill. It's a great experience.
That's fantastic. We have to take another break. We'll be right back after this brief message. Coming up, philanthropist Mark Wilf will be joined by Jewish Federation's new Chief Development Officer to discuss the future of the Jewish philanthropic world.
If it wasn't for the financial assistance, I couldn't come here.
Every little bit helps. She says, I get stronger every day.
When you have a child and you want the absolute best for them, it's twice as important to make the community strong.
We have over 100 Porsches out of the sun and rain in our 6-story parking garage.
So it's easy to find your dream car at Porsche West Palm Beach.
Porsche West Palm Beach, the #1 Porsche certified pre-owned center with the largest selection in Florida. Visit BraemanPorsche.com.
Picture living aboard a luxury cruise ship with first-class service and the best amenities 24/7. Life at Tradition is just like a cruise ship that doesn't leave port. With more fabulous food, more fun with friends and family, a more fulfilling future, more care when you need it, and more freedom when you don't. Our elegant assisted living residences provide so much more, so you can make the most of every day. Rent an apartment at Morse Life and see how much more life can be.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I could have bought my BMW anywhere, but at Freeman, I love my salesman, my BMW, and Club Freeman.
It's the Season of Love sales event. Enjoy exceptional offers at Braman BMW, West Palm Beach and Jupiter. BramanBMW.com.
There are few experiences that bring a family closer than an adventure in the land of Israel. Enjoy the magic of Hanukkah with your children or grandchildren on Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County's unforgettable, tailor-made journey through Israel's most magnificent sites and cities. It's happening December 22nd to 29th, 2019. Learn more and reserve your spot with the information on your screen. We're back with Mark Wilf, and joining us is the Chief Development Director of the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County, Matt Kernkraut. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Why are we seeing a change in philanthropic giving today?
Well, you know, Susan, I'd say one thing that's constant, just to start, are the challenges that we're all facing as a society. You know, Mark mentioned caring for Holocaust survivors and their companions, but then we take also anti-Semitism, people going hungry and making decisions whether to put a meal on the table or make rent, caring for those older Americans, and ensuring that all people have access to education. So that's the constant, and the challenges aren't going away. I'd say what's different is there's more people that can contribute than ever before. You know, the diversity of the philanthropic base of support is as expansive as it's ever been, whether we think about on gender, on race. And you know, here at the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County, we're an inclusive and welcoming organization. We serve as the Center for Philanthropic Leadership for the whole community, and we want everyone to be involved however they'd like to be involved. So one is sort of the people and the base. Of course, another is how people can give. Technology has obviously changed all aspects of society, including in philanthropy. So we're seeing more people giving online than ever before. In fact, boomers give online more than they do through the mail. So there's just two of the many ways philanthropy is changing today.
Mark, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think it's a crowded landscape in terms of people want to help, people want to search for meaning and connection, and there are a lot of wonderful organizations. The unique thing about the Federation is it's a really powerful bang for your buck, if you will, where it really connects to the entire community. So a dollar given to a federation, which represents the whole community, goes to the day schools, goes to the JCCs, the community centers, goes to the State of Israel, goes overseas. It really is the kind of a gift and connection that I think many people in the community really want to know and want to be part of, and we just have to be more out front in explaining what it really means to be connected to Federation.
Are financial donations the only way to give?
Not at all. I think, you know, obviously financial is very important, but time is important too. And I urge people that want to get involved. There's no greater feeling in this world than to give of yourself, of your finances, of your time, of your body and soul. You know, we're very privileged in this country, a lot of us, and we're fortunate to give back, but there's a responsibility to give back. So.
And I'll just add two pieces. One, I'd say one of the great ways people can help is to connect individuals in the community to the resources of Federation. So if you know a young family with a new child, help them sign up for PJ Library. You know, we send books every month that have Jewish themes about Jewish holidays and the like to individuals in the community to help share the importance of literacy. Or if there's on the other end of this spectrum, you know, individuals who are in great need, who are in vulnerable situations, our agencies are there to help, but it often takes a neighbor or a friend to make that call and make that connection. And the second item I just add is, you know, one of my colleagues from another federation told me that, you know, dreams without resources are delusions. So there's many ways to give and to contribute, but we truly could not do the important work at Federation and so many other, you know, top flight nonprofit organizations without the charitable contributions of everyone.
Well said.
Yes.
There's about to be a big transfer of wealth between generations. How do you find the difference between younger generations and the methodology that they give and their desires to differ from the older generations?
I think the focus on differences, while they might be there, I think we have more in common than not. People want to be part of something that's meaningful and connect to things that are meaningful to them and their families. And I think one thing, younger generations, they're concerned about their children and their grandchildren. What kind of world are they going to have when they grow up? And the idea of building a community, yes, we're helping each other, but we're also building networks that we can all grow up in and our kids and grandkids can grow up in and feel connected to. So I think we have more alike than we are apart.
One final question. With all the Jewish organizations that we can give to, why is it so important to support the Jewish Federation?
Well, the framing of your question I think is excellent. I mean, of course, any organization that one supports, Jewish or otherwise, is fantastic. And I'd say to support both, it shouldn't be a choice of one or the other. There's so many important organizations. The Federation does offer many benefits. For one, it provides leadership and leverage in the community. I mean, the ability to collect all of our contributions through the annual campaign and direct them to where it's needed most is incredibly important and powerful. One of the other trends, to build on your question earlier, is that people want to be part of organizations that they can trust in the leadership, trust in the past demonstration of performance. And federations have been around a while, and we see that as a strength because they'll be around tomorrow too.
That's a great way to end the program. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mosaic is brought to you by these generous sponsors and underwriters. Learn how you can support Mosaic by visiting jewishpalmbeach.org/mosaic.